Hi, Teacher Krista, or hey, Pajama Mama here. Today, I want to talk to you about the Qkids application process. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. I'm going to give you an overview of what that looks like, and I'm even going to take you into the Qkids platform and you can see what it looks like. Take a look at this video. You can also see my other videos. You can find that on this YouTube channel. Hey Pajama Mama. You can also email me at onlineeslteacherkrista@gmail.com, or you can take a look and like my Facebook page. It's called Online ESL Teaching with Teacher Krista. So I'd love to hear from you. And here we go. Let's talk about Qkids, the application process. Okay, so Qkids is a really great ESL online teaching company. They are a little bit smaller than some of your other ESL companies, but they have such a great platform. They do take a different approach to bookings. Their classes are booked by the company, so you don't have to get bookings from parents of the kids. So that's a nice plus. It's a really great company. The same hours typically apply. Their teaching hours are on a regular season are 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time to 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. That's Monday through Sunday. They also have evening hours Friday and Saturday, typically 7:30 p.m. to around 10:40 p.m. Eastern Time. When the clocks change, then it will change, but those are the ranges. They do not offer any evening hours aside from Friday and Saturday in a typical regular season. Those do change depending on what is happening in China. If there's different holidays, things like that, then more hours get added, and they let you know that. You will teach on a platform that is 1-to-1, or 1-to-2, or 1-to-4. Most of their classes are one teacher to 4 students. They do have other curriculum and other programs that parents can choose for their child that do involve 1-to-1 teaching or 1-to-2. So there are varying programs or packages that they can purchase, which is really great. So it gives a variety. You do not get certified with Qkids. You don't have to get certifications in order to be able to teach certain levels. You kind of get what is given to you, which is a great thing. So why is that scary sounding? It is scary sounding, especially with 1-to-4 students. That can be intimidating as well. But the Qkids platform is designed to really be able to engage each student, so you can address each student in the way that gets them all involved. It's the way their curriculum is put together, and it's the way their platform works. Qkids is more of a game-like type of platform, and it's really interactive. The students really get to click on things, and you bring out their verbal skills, but you really get to engage with them in that way. So you can think, oh, 4 kids, it's okay, because they're doing things as you're, verbalizing with them or listening to them verbalize it back to you. So the way their platform is set up and their curriculum is set up, it's not as scary as it sounds. It's actually really fun, and you can really get to know the kids in a short amount of time. That is one other difference with Qkids. You might, but typically you won't get repeat students. So anytime you have a class, they're going to be all new students to you. There are occasions, if you teach enough classes, that you will run into the same students as you do different classes. It's rare, but it does happen if you teach a lot. But, you get to see different kids each class, which is, I think it's really refreshing. So how do we do this? How do we get to be a Qkids teacher? Well, I find and I think that Qkids application process is very simple. It's not convoluted with all these different scenarios. It's pretty straightforward. So you do need a bachelor's degree. If you do not have a teaching certification to go along with your bachelor's degree, you will need to have a TESOL or a TEFL type certification. So get in touch with me. I can give you the resources to obtain that if you don't have it. If you do have it, that's great. You can apply to Qkids as you are working on your TESOL or TEFL certification. Just let them know that that's what you're working on. So that is what you need. You need to be a native English speaker, as well as you need to be able to be eligible to work within the US or Canada. You do need to be or reside in North America. That is where you need to teach from, just due to the nature of their type of platform and internet and access to it that way. It's not to say you can't teach different places. You can, but they look for you to be residing within North America. Okay, so what do you need to do? Those are the requirements, okay? And you do also need to have a little bit of experience working with children, whether that is, volunteering at your church, Girl Scouts, even your own children, helping them with homework and anything like that. But you really want to pull out your experience with working with kids as well. So that's all part of their requirements. So what does it look like? Basically, what you need to do first is get my referral link, and I can provide that to you. So make sure you reach out to me, and I can share that with you. And you'll also be able to find it in the description of this video as well. So make sure you check that out and use it, and I will help you in this process. So what you need to do, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to give them your basic information, your name, where you reside, your experience. You're also going to supplement that information with your resume. Doesn't need to be an elaborate resume. It doesn't need to list everything you've ever done. Just give them your education experience, as well as maybe any online teaching you've done, or any teaching in general that you've done. If you haven't been a teacher, then maybe give, like I said, those volunteer experiences that you've been involved in, or those interactions you've had with kids, and make sure you highlight that in your resume. It does not need to be elaborate. It just needs to make sure that you provide that information. And who you are and what a typical resume would say. Just doesn't need to be elaborate. So you need to have the resume. You also need to provide your availability for Qkids. Qkids does require that you have availability for 6 hours a week, which works out to 12 classes. You do need to have that availability and show that to them. We can discuss the availability portion of everything when you discuss with me when you're going through the application. We can discuss that further, but they do require that you show at least an availability of 6 hours a week, which works out to 12 classes. They do have a really great cancellation policy, which I can also explain when we discuss things as well. So make sure you reach out to me through those ways that I described, which will also be available in the comment box. Okay, so you're going to provide your resume, your basic information, as well you're going to create a video of you describing yourself. Introduce yourself. Who are you? Why would you be a good Qkids teacher? And really present yourself in your video. You are also going to get the chance to choose a children's book and read that in your video, like you're reading it to a little kid or anyone that's with you. So you want to have a little bit of animation to you, but clear language skills. We want to be able to hear your language skills and make it good. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It just needs to present you in your best light. So you're gonna then either put that into YouTube and send them the link. However you best feel they'll be able to receive your video. So that goes along with your basic information, your resume, and then your uploaded introduction video. And then they'll review that, and then you'll hear back from them. And they are very good at communicating what steps you need to take in the process. So that's the very first initial step that you need to take. So talking about, introduction videos and such like that, what you need to even be able to take the next step, which would be your demo number 1, you do need to make sure that you have a computer. So there are technological requirements that are needed in order to do even the interview process. So you need a good computer. It needs to have very good memory and basically a good operating system. You can find their requirements. I will provide them to you when we get discussing things. They are pretty specific. Qkids is very good at, providing it what information and what requirements are needed. So you need a good computer, good internet. You will also need to have decent lighting when you have your interviews with them. They need to be able to see you, okay? And that's really it to get into that next part. So you don't have to have a fancy background, not for that initial demo number 1. But you need to make sure that you are decently set up. They will send you the information. You will get to look at what the platform looks like. You'll get to play around with the tools, okay? Because that is what demo number 1 is all about. You will also, I'm looking here, you will need to make sure that you have headset. They look for that because that is a key piece to having very good communication with the platform as well as with the students, so they can hear you clearly and you can hear them. And you want to cut out the background noise, so we don't want that out there either. So along with that, you want to make sure you have that for your demo number 1. So demo number 1, you're going to actually just get to go into you'll meet with one of the Chinese representatives for Qkids, and you'll be in the platform. You'll be in there, and by then you will already have practiced all the different buttons, how to mute the sound, how to make the sound lower, how to make it louder, and how to put students on the stage. You will learn what that means. You'll just get to learn before you even do this demo how to use those buttons. And they give you great resources that explain that. They give you a practice room that you can go in and play around with all the buttons and put yourself on stage so the students can see you. You get to play with that all before you do your demo number 1. So then when you go into demo number 1, when you're discussing with that representative, you get to talk about yourself, but you also get to show your knowledge of those buttons and how they're used, and you might even, in the tail end of that demo number 1, you may even get to have some other representatives come in as kids, and you might get to play around with the platform that way. And basically they're just assessing what you know about the platform. And they're also checking your internet connection and making sure that you have a really stable connection. They really suggest or almost require that you have an Ethernet cord that plugs into your computer from your modem. So you need to be directly connected. That will give you the best stable connection. So you want to make sure you have that as well. So that's demo number 1. Once you've done that, you'll get a nice idea if they're interested in you and if they want you to continue on with the process. If they do, they will let you know and they will set up another demo number 2. Demo number 2 is more of a lesson type feel to it. You're going to be in the classroom with students, other representatives of Qkids, and they're going to be kids. They're going to do stuff, and you're going to have to mute them possibly. You're going to have to engage them in the lesson. Basically, they want to see that you've learned even more how to really use the platform and involve yourself with the students. Okay? They want to see that you know how to facilitate the platform in the lesson and how you can make it flow with probably 4 students. When I did it, I had, I think, 6 students in there, so they've cut it down. The most they have in a classroom now is 4. So they just want to see your teaching style. Do you use TPR? How do you get the students engaged in what you're doing? You will get to see some of the different games that Qkids uses to facilitate their lessons, and it's really fun, and you get to use your skills and show them how you are as an ESL online teacher, which is exciting. So you're almost doing it. So that's demo number 2. You do a really good job, you're going to get to go into the trainings, okay? So we had demo number 1, demo number 2, going to get to go into that next phase of the interview process, okay? So basically, before you get to that next step, you will always have a practice room there. You get to play around with the platform. So you'll have a lot of time to get to practice and use it. And practice your online ESL teaching skills as well. TPR, using your hands, using simple props. You don't need a lot of props, ball, 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 using your hands, get used to that feeling of it. But the key thing is really knowing how to use their platform. So that's what those demos 1 and 2 are really about, is testing your internet connection and making sure it's stable, but also really seeing your knowledge of the platform itself. Because like I said, you have to know all those tools for all of the lessons. They are used, not every game is used within lessons, but you need to know how to use the tools. Especially, if a student has a bad connection on their end, how do you send them a little robot to tell them, I can't see you, I can't hear you, okay? So there's buttons to use to do that. You get to practice with that. That's the wonderful thing about their application process. You get to actually practice with it. So that's really it. Once you've done those demos, you're going to get to know if they're still interested in you, which they will be. So what you want to do then is practice, and then you get to do your trainings. This varies, depending on the facilitator you have, the trainer you have. You could end up doing 2 trainings, or you could do 5. I haven't heard of more than 5, but you could. So they really want to get you practiced in the use of the platform. So they give you a lot of opportunity to do that. In the trainings, you are paid for them. You are teaching a class, okay? You are the teacher, and the kids are in there. So you get to do that. And they'll let you know what lesson you have, like I said, in the platform. I'm going to demonstrate a little bit later for you what that looks like, but you will get to see what class you have and get comfortable with that. And you'll get to practice beforehand, because you can go into the classroom before your lesson starts, so you can see what it is you're going to be teaching. But you are teaching in those trainings, and you will be reviewed on how well you do, okay? So that is the next step, really. 2 to 5. So it could be 2, 3, 4, 5 different trainings, but you do get paid for them, which is a great thing. You're being compensated for your efforts. Even if it doesn't work out, you still get paid for them, I think that's really a great thing that they do for potential teachers. So after the trainings, what happens then? Then they will run a background check on you, okay? So that's where giving your basic information and your background information, they'll run that background for you, and more than likely it should come up clean. And if it does, then I imagine, since they let you through to that point, you will be the next Qkids teacher. that is awesome. So their process is pretty standard, okay? And it's very clear as to what you need to do along the way. And I can help you with that too. I can help you, maybe give you some tips, when you're teaching those training sessions. What can you do better if your trainer gives you some information or some feedback, like, oh, try this. If you're not sure what that means, let me know and I'll help you out. Okay? So Qkids is such a great company. Hi, this is the Qkids Platform. This is what it looks like when you go into the Qkids Platform. You can see all of your classes for the day, which is really nice. It shows you a nice thumbnail of the course or of the class, and it gives you all of the details regarding the class, and it shows you what students are in it. It could be 1 student, could be 2 students, it could be 4 students. But this is what it looks like, and it's very informative, and it allows you to really review the class before you teach it. Because with Qkids, you don't always have a lot of prep time. Sometimes they will switch out the class on you if there's no students in there. But the beauty of Qkids is that it's a type of platform that once you know the tools and where to go with everything, it's pretty easy to use in any of the classes. So as long as you review a little bit of what the class is about, you'll be fine. So I want to show you, if you look up here, there's a date, and you can click on any date to see what classes you have for that day. So this is for the 13th. Here we have, the 15th. This is for the 16th. So, and you can see all the classes that I have available here. It's very user-friendly. You have all these different tabs. There's the billing center. You can go in and see some trainings. They show you, they have really good resources for the curriculums. Teaching, this is where you would see your reviews for the week. We don't want to see that. So these are all the different tabs that we have. Certificates and resources, that one is in there. That's where a lot of the different resources are as well. You can go in and take a look at how to use the different tools, or what games are played differently throughout all of the different courses. So it's a great place to go if you can't really remember how a game should be played. You can go in here and check it out. Messaging center, that's where you can get in touch with the CC team, the classroom coordinator team. That's where you can send a message to them if you can't make the class, or if you're going to be away for a while. You can let them know what your availability is. And then you have your contract details. Everything's on this platform, so it's so easy to use, and it's really a great platform. It is based on games. I'll take you in to see. This is a phonics class, which I really enjoy teaching. But there's all different types of games that really enforce the learning. So there's always an opening screen, and here you can welcome your students. Okay. So everything in the Qkids platform is very user-friendly and very interactive is the word I'm looking for. So you can talk with the kids. What do you see? I see a lion. I see Momo. I see Kobe. Really interactive. And we're going to learn the letter L today. So then we do a review, and you just click on, the letter and say, can you find big E? And then they click on it, and you'll see down below here if they've done it or not. So you'll know whether they've actually clicked on it correctly. There's so many different types of games that they have within their lessons, it's really it's really user friendly, and it's really great for the kids because they get to interact with you as the teacher, but they also get to interact with the platform, and they learn that way because they're interacting with it. They're touching things. They're verbalizing it as they touch it. So it's really a great platform. You know, there's diamonds. I can't give any right now because there's no students, but you give them diamonds. You don't have to have a secondary reward. You give diamonds and the kids are more than happy with that. Um, so that's a nice plus. You don't have to have a lot of extra stuff. You're really focusing on the games. The games are what keeps the kids engaged in the lesson. And you too. I mean, you got to use your TPR to emphasize things, but you do not need a secondary reward. The diamonds are everything these kids want. So this is the platform, and it's a really, like I said, very user friendly, and there's a lot of fun things that you can do with this platform. I do want to give you a little bit of information about their pay and how you're scheduled. They do have a base rate of $8 across the board. All teachers make $8 per class. Then you have an opportunity to get at least a $2 incentive increase. If you get good ratings for that class that you taught from parents and students, then you can get an extra dollar on that class. If you teach 15 classes or more in a week, you can gain another dollar per class. Okay? So if you teach less than that, then you don't qualify for that extra incentive. So base rate $8, you can potentially get an extra $2 on top of that. So you're looking at about $20 an hour, which is really great. And it's such a great company. They make the process of teaching with them really easy and fun. It is really fun. Their platform is so interactive. You can really get into the lessons with the kids. Their classes run 30 minutes, depending on the curriculum. If you're teaching a one-to-one class, those lessons are 24 minutes. You then get 6 minutes to complete a written feedback. We can discuss the details of that as you get to that point. But for one-to-one classes, there is a little bit of written feedback for that student that needs to be done, but it's included in your class time. Other classes, 1 to 2, 1 teacher to 2 students, or 1 teacher to 4 students, those are 30-minute classes. You can go to the leaderboard, which is where you calculate up all the diamonds, at 28 minutes, but you need to engage them until 30 minutes. You do need to, there is a requirement or you will lose the class. You do need to be in the classroom at least 3 minutes before the start of the class. So technically, you are in the classroom for at least 33 minutes, depending what type of class you are teaching. But you do need to be in there at least 3 minutes prior to the class start time. That is where you welcome yourself, you welcome the students, you get to ask a few introductory questions, and then you move on to the lesson. But that 3 minutes is for that part. I gave you the hours for scheduling, and it's provided by the company, so they book you. So you give them your availability, which I had mentioned earlier, and then you wait to see if you get booked, which you probably will. They do provide 10 minutes in between each class. So if a class runs from 5:30, it will end at 6 o'clock. The next class would start at 6:10 and go until 6:40. The next class after that starts at 6:50 until 7:20. That's the time frame that you can go by. So there's always a 10-minute period in between each class. Now you're thinking, okay, that's a lot of time. Yeah, it is, and you can take advantage of that because you do not have to provide feedback other than a few clicks. You do the feedback, the evaluation of the students like I think there's maybe 3 clicks at the end of the class while you're still in the classroom, and then you can leave. Then you have until 3 minutes before the next class time to get yourself prepared for the next lesson. So their timings, their booking times for classes are not directly on the half hour. There is like a 10-minute, few minutes in between classes. So you'll see the timing looks a little different, but you know, they give you time to regroup and move on to the next lesson. Qkids is such a great platform. I hope that you are interested in joining the teacher community here with Qkids. It is a very nice, good application process, and it really sets teachers up for success on being hired. And I would really like to help you become a Qkids teacher. So make sure you take a look at my communication information down below, and let's get this started.